to you, but now with this, I want to go across to Yash Ahuja, who's joining me live from the newsroom to take us through some live trackers. Over to you, Yash.
As an LPG tanker by the name of Jag Vikram has crossed the Strait of Hormuz. It is the first India-bound vessel to transit since US-Iran ceasefire announcement. What we see on our screens right now is the live tracker. This is Jag Vikram, which is currently on its way to India. It has crossed the crucial Strait of Hormuz. This is the point of contention. This is the area that has been closed by Iran, and this is the safe passage that Iran recently announced. If we take a look at its past route, this is the route that it took to cross the Strait of Hormuz. This is the exact route that the Iranians marked on a map and announced that this will be the area which will be considered as a safe zone, which will be allowed, which will be open to marine traffic, will be allowed to cross the Strait of Hormuz from here. Zooming in, this is where it is currently right now, and indeed, you don't see a lot of traffic coming through the blocked area, which is why if we zoom in a little towards Bandar Abbas port, which is usually the main hub for these tankers, you see a lot of marine traffic. You see a lot of LPG tankers. You see India-bound tankers still stuck near the Bandar Abbas port, near Kasab port. But crucially, the main point here is this is the area that Iran has opened for marine traffic, and an Indian-bound LPG tanker Jag Vasant has crossed it and is on its way to India. Now, speaking of oil and crude, let's take a look at today's crude oil prices since the announcement of ceasefire and as diplomatic talks between US Iran begins in Islamabad. Now, in the morning, we received the news that Iranian delegation has arrived in Islamabad. Following that, the US delegation led by Vice President JD Vance arrived in Islamabad, and this is where crude oil prices stand off as of now. It is at $94.45 per barrel, which is 1.53% drop today. If you take a look at what happened today afternoon, when the news of JD Vance arriving in Islamabad for talks, the price at that point was ranging somewhere towards $96.97 per barrel. Following that, it just kept dropping, and as of now, we are seeing a very sharp drop from $96.64 to $94.65 per barrel. Let's take a look at a 5-day comparison. This is where the ceasefire announcement was made. $109.14 per barrel was the price at that point of time. The price of Brent crude has dropped by almost 14% in the past 5 days. It dropped to a low of $92.59, and it has consistently then ranged in between 92 to 98, and it hasn't crossed the $100 threshold since the announcement of ceasefire. If we take a look at a 1-month graph of this, and we take a look and we differentiate between what happened on 16th March and what happened on 23rd March. Yes, back to you.
Mr. Sanjay Gupta is an economist. Mr. Gupta, now if I ask you that, are we now seeing that, when it comes to the LPG prices, the situation is going to get better from here, or are we still in a fragile state?
Actually, to be very frankly speaking, we are still in a very fragile state. very much depending upon the talks which are going on in the Pakistan, what will be the outcome of that. And when we all see the present talks are incidentally are forced talks between Iran and America. Both sides are not agreeing to their terms. Opening of Strait of Hormuz has been a bone of contention for the American president. Also, he has been declaring the now and then and warning Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz without any further delays or without any talks itself. And then there has been attacks on Lebanon by the Iranian side, which the Iranians would not like to go forward for that. And further, the nuclear capacities, which the US has been readily targeting since the 2015 itself, and they would like to demolish all the nuclear facilities of the Iran, which Iran may not like and may not succumb to that pressures. Incidentally, we are seeing that the war clouds are not over yet again, though both the sides have suffered. Even you see, this is the sixth week of the war, which American president or the American army or Pentagon had never expected the war to go so deep and taken so much time. And you see the everyday cost the Americans are incurring on this war has been putting a dent on their treasury itself. The recent figures coming out of the America is that the America is suffering from the worst inflation in last 4 years, and it has gone to almost 4.6%, which they have never anticipated till that. And even if you see the Iranian conditions in Iran, the inflation is already at a 40% level. You see, 40% level is something that the general public cannot afford even a day-to-day living. And we are also seeing the impact on our Indian economy also. Very recently, you have find that World Bank has increased the Indian growth story from for 27 itself from 6.4 to 6.7 or 8%. Even RBI has revised and upgraded our estimates for FY27. Though they must have considered the war impact also, yet if the situation does not normalize and the crude prices does not go to the previous levels, Indian economy is going to suffer, and at least I see a dent of at least 1% in the GDP itself.
Right. With that, I'd like to thank